So let's move on to the second part of our overview of our chapter, focused on imitative versus emulative learning and a cultural learning tool called theory of mind. So in human cultural learning, tools that possibly set humans apart from other animals are theory of mind and language. And right now we're going to just focus on theory of mind. So a penny for your thoughts. When somebody says that to you, they're asking you, what are you thinking? Because they know that you're probably thinking of something different than what they're thinking. Theory of mind is the capacity to understand that others have minds, intentions, and perspectives different from their own. This ability is found in humans, not in most other species. As reported by our book, there are mixed results about theory of mind with chimpanzees. Hein described that those chimpanzees trained by humans show some signs of theory of mind, and those existing in the wild may not show theory of mind. In the video we looked at earlier, theory of mind was demonstrated in studies where high and low ranking chimps are competing for a banana. If the low ranking chimp doesn't think the other chimp knows about the banana or can't see it, he'll go for it. He demonstrates theory of mind where he knows the other chimp is not thinking what he is thinking, that is, to go for the banana. The same can be seen when we test theory of mind with the Sally Ann task. So if you haven't heard about this, Ann has a box, Sally has a basket. Sally hides a marble in the basket and then she walks away. Anne decides to move the marble to her box. So we know, seeing her move it, that the marble is now in her box. When Sally returns, where will she look for the marble? In her basket, where she left it, or in Anne's box, where we know it is? So we know that Sally would look for it in the basket because that's where she left it. The question is, will a child demonstrate theory of mind and know that Sally thinks the marble is in the basket, even though we saw Anne move it to the box? And what they found is that most normally developing children aged 4 and over pass this task. So what's the importance of theory of mind in terms of setting us apart from other animals? A general learning mechanism is for humans to copy everything the prestigious model does, both positive and negative, because individuals don't always know what makes the model so prestigious. We copy role models who we feel will provide expertise from which to learn and can be efficient. This can be efficient. In fact, in terms of human evolution, our ancestors learned by looking to role models as means to increase their survival. They copy everything from behaviors to clothing style, and this serves to maximize the chances of learning successfully. Still, there's a possibility that this leads to transmission of irrelevant and inefficient behaviors. Humans exhibit the ability and motivation to share their perspectives and intentions with others, which is important to cultural learning. This is apparent when we think of strategies used for learning, particularly in terms of imitative and emulative learning. With imitative learning, the learner internalizes goals and behavioral strategies of a role model. As we discussed before, the role model often has revealed some type of prestige that makes them a visible or viable role model. Learners over-imitate models by copying everything a model does, even their non-relevant behaviors. The focus is on figuring out how to fulfill the goal of the model. As such, they are able and motivated to understand the intentions of the model, which allows us to pay attention and reproduce their behaviors. This requires theory of mind, and this is used by humans. In emulative learning, the learner tries to figure out how an object can affect the environment. The focus is on how to manipulate an object to attain a specific goal, like getting to a treat. It's not to fulfill the goal of the role model. In this case, the individual is trying to think of the best and most efficient way to attain their goal. What's missing is the motivation to understand the role model's intentions. As such, there's less imitation and more creative adaptation toward goal achievement. Because this doesn't involve trying to get into the mind of the role model, emulation does not require a theory of the mind. Emulative learning has been demonstrated by chimpanzees, other primates, and even dogs. So think about the example of imitative versus emulative learning provided in our chapter, where young children and chimps were shown how a model, a person, used a rake to retrieve an object. Dragging the rake teeth down is less efficient because the object can slip through the teeth. Dragging the rake teeth up is much more efficient. What was found is that by applying emulative learning, chimpanzees independently figured out the more efficient way or method of using the rake. All of the chimpanzees used the rake up, with the teeth up, regardless of what they saw the model do. This is because the focus was on getting the object. Applying imitative learning, the child copied whatever the model did, even when it was not the most efficient way to get the object. This is because the focus was on copying the strategy used by the model, not to be efficient or creative. So, imitative learning is less efficient and it leads one to copy irrelevant behaviors. It requires models to exist, but allows for faithful and high fidelity reproduction of target behaviors. This allows for cumulative learning, where the strategy can be learned, shared, and improved upon. Emulative learning is more efficient, and the learner can directly figure out effective ways of using a tool. But this does not allow for cumulative cultural learning because there's only the goal achievement as opposed to learning, sharing, and improving. So, why do young children imitate slavishly and apes copy but don't teach? We'll talk about this more, but for now, I'd like you to watch Indoctrination, which talks about imitative versus emulative learning, on a video that's posted on our Blackboard.